Welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. A special welcome to our Patreon patrons, to our YouTube subscribers. You're keeping the show alive. Appreciate it. The rest of you, even the patrons, please link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. It's easy to do. There are instructions in the show description. You just have to try. So please try, because you're sticking it to Amazon. You have that subscription. You've already paid for it. Make them pay us. It's your money. They have it. Take it out of their pocket and give it to Shane, please. Okay, from Patreon, today's question comes from Levi Kahn. How do the finances work between platform holders like Nintendo and Sony and their first-party studios? I know they're generally wholly owned, but how much sales money makes its way back to the studio itself to fund growth, pay bonus, etc.? Are those studios incentivized in any way to create better work besides just keeping their jobs? I used to work for an oil company, so I'll tell you how we did it. And it was called an integrated oil company. So we were fully integrated, meaning we owned the production, we owned the pipeline from the well to the port, we owned the ship that would take the oil from the port to the refinery, we owned the refinery that refined it into gasoline, and then we owned the pipelines that took it to the distribution station for the trucks. We owned the distribution station, we owned the trucks, and we owned the gas stations. We owned all of it, right? How did we make decisions about how much money to put in each business? I'm going to give you a very complicated business school answer to your very simple question. I remember my first day working in finance at this company. And I was talking to the CFO, and he was explaining exactly what I'm explaining to you. And he said, okay, if we made capital decisions, investment decisions, solely based on how much profit we could make, we would only drill for oil wells. Because that's the most, of all those things I just described, that's the most profitable part of the business. But then we wouldn't have a pipeline to get the oil to the port, and we wouldn't have ships to get it to the refinery, we wouldn't have refineries. And if we can't sell gasoline to the customer, we're out of business. So we need to make decisions about that. So we came up with something, we didn't invent it, we emulated what others did, called transfer pricing. And so when the oil came out of the ground, the oil company sold it to the refinery. So they paid $80 a barrel. They own the oil. Then the refinery paid the pipeline company $1 a barrel to transport it to the ship. Then the shipping company charged the refinery $2 a barrel to take it to its refinery. Then the refinery owns the oil now, and they paid all those dollars, 80 plus $1 plus $2 plus whatever. And then they had costs, and they turned all that oil into gasoline, and then they charged the gas station for the gasoline. And the gas station paid the trucks to bring it to the gas station. So they paid, $1 a barrel, which is, a barrel is 42 gallons. So everybody paid their piece, right? And then the trucking company said, okay, we have all this this gasoline that we transport from the refinery to the gas station, and we make 5 cents a gallon. So when they need a new truck, we figure out how many trips they have to take at 5 cents a gallon profit, whether you should buy a new truck or not. So they have to be competitive. The pipeline company, when they built the pipeline, we're going to get $1 for every barrel that comes out. We figured out if we could justify the cost of a pipeline company. That's how you do it. You have transfer pricing, which is what's in finance is called arm's length. It has to be the actual market rate. And here's what's cool. If the pipeline company that we own couldn't do it at the same price as another pipeline company, we had the right to go to another pipeline company and have it shipped a different way. If our refinery wasn't competitive with another refinery, then the oil company had the right to sell its oil to the other refinery. So everybody had to pay a competitive price. It kept us honest. So the answer is Sony and Nintendo kind of run their first-party studios to make games under the same terms as third-party studios. And so third-party studios put content on PlayStation, pay PlayStation their $12 or $14 a unit royalty, or it's probably more, probably $20. But they pay them their royalty, and then they figure out how much they can sell it for, and they make a profit. They figure out how much it's going to cost to make it. Sony and Nintendo run their studios exactly the same way, their first-party studios. So the console business gets their royalty, and the studio gets to keep the rest of it. And obviously, Sony could look at one of the studios, Naughty Dog or something, and say, oh, wait a minute, we thought you guys were going to make $100 million in profit, and you were going to pay out bonuses, and you were going to spend $70 million making the next Last of Us, but you made $200 million in profit, so you got to pay us a dividend of $100. They can do that, of course. They can force the money to come out, but ultimately, everybody kind of runs their own business and their own profit. And if a studio consistently loses money, then they don't get funded for the next game because the corporate parent doesn't want to give them any more money. They're not worth it. We'd rather do third-party games than first-party games that don't make money. So that's the answer. And it's that transfer pricing and accountability for profit that results in studios getting closed. So Avalanche, which was a Disney studio making Disney Infinity, got closed. Warner Brothers decided to fund them, took them over the next day, and they made Hogwarts Legacy. Who knew that the Disney Infinity studio could make a cool console game? They're great. It's a great game. Not every project's going to work, and not everything's going to be profitable, but money moves around that way. So that's really a good question, and it honestly is run that way because you kind of have to be honest. Otherwise, you would have two studios that cost the same to run. One sells 20 million units and one sells 2. Well, that's not fair. You shouldn't fund them both. You should make sure that the guy who makes 20 million units has more money to work on more projects because he's going to make you more money. And it works that way in Hollywood as well. I mean, it's kind of consistent throughout all entertainment. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. Appreciate your patronage from our Patreon fans and appreciate your subscription from our YouTube subscribers. All of those people, plus all the rest of you freeloaders, please try to remember to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. Since you're a freeloader, it's free. So you get this show for free, and you get Amazon to pay us for free. Free is good, okay? And it's not really free because somebody's got to pay. If it's too good to be true, it's not true. It's too good to be true because Amazon's paying us, and you're sticking it to them, and it's free. So look up the word freeloader because that's you. And it's free. I'm giving something free to a freeloader. That's nirvana. Thanks very much for joining us. I'll see you next time.